It's disturbing that my previous video showcasing a particular play wasn't even close to the worst part of the game. You might think grabbing the ref was the worst part. Maybe. There's a lot to choose from. And that's the point. There's always a lot to choose from. The absurd officiating in LeBron's behavior has been going on for decades. So why don't we start with a little history? Three times a juicer. But I know they'll let you off the hook. I had forgotten about that time that Jordan got ejected. And, I saw other people talking about the fact that Jordan didn't get the protection that LeBron gets. And they were talking about, look, Jordan bumped a ref and got ejected for it. And I watched the footage and I'm like, man, like even calling that a bump is pushing it. It looks more like when you misjudge your distance and your shirt touches the other person's shirt. Anyway, that's not even my point. My point is that obviously Jordan was pretty upset this time, and this level of being angry from Jordan was an actual rare occasion. And I might have teed him up or ejected him for the way that he was screaming at the ref, regardless of the bump. Guess what? LeBron does this to the refs nightly. Nightly. It's not a rare occasion. It's nightly. He does the monster face, screams in their face. His mouth somehow becomes 12 inches vertically. I mean, he looks like a fucking demon-possessed person in the refs' faces. Nightly. How about the simple goal of getting some accurate headlines? This should read, refs snuff out the Suns rally. And I almost admire the speed at which the Lakers broadcast managed to edit out the part where LeBron James is fouling Dillon Brooks in time for the replay. That's impressive. I had to find another broadcast to hear someone tell the truth.
Gets the ball with the shot and he gets fouled.
Just listen to these two again.
And then after that, he goes right into LeBron for what? I have no idea.
You have no idea? I mean, were you at the game? Because that foul is hard to miss. It looks like LeBron's trying to block the shot with his shoulder. After LeBron James does something shady, these two and the rest of the sports media world will come to his rescue saying, oh, well, I understand why he's frustrated. This is justified. Well, isn't Dillon Brooks justified in being frustrated with the refs right here? Instead, he gets in LeBron's face, but maybe he should have taken a lesson from the LeBron James rulebook and bumped a ref instead, because you can do that without getting a tech. And let's rewind to this play, because LeBron James causes this bump here. How about if Dillon Brooks says, I've had enough?
And that is LeBron has had enough.
Well, if we're playing the it's justified because he's had enough game, LeBron is following Brooks in his face. There's a couple of techs worth right there. There's a couple of techs worth right there. But you know what? LeBron's had enough, so it's okay. Because that's what LeBron James did at the end of the game. He put on enough of a show that Dillon Brooks was assessed a technical later. Later. Not during the game, not on the spot, later. And this broadcast had a good point. If you can review for that, then you can review for the foul.
If you are using video review and replay as a true tool, and we've seen them go back
Absolutely.
in challenges and make foul calls, how do you not go back? As James, perhaps fittingly, missing the technical free throw.
Gets the ball with the shot, and he gets fouled by James, and nothing is called.
And that's why Dillon reacted the way he did.
Absolutely.
So if they roll all the way back, that should...
I mean, and James, he hits him.
He came in with
So
like
that's right.
a chop. And now James playing the victim as they come in.
After review, Brooks makes illegal contact on sporting contact during the dead ball and aggressively approaches James. It is a technical foul. He's been ejected from the game on his second technical foul. Los Angeles will shoot a free throw. They called a timeout during that dead ball, and then they will advance the ball.
Wow, wow, wow.
So on the review, they felt that James' contact was not enough.
Isn't any contact on a shooter enough?
That's what I thought.
The same set of officials could see that this was a foul, but couldn't see that this was a foul. I'd be frustrated too. Don't get me wrong, what Dillon Brooks did right here was stupid. What Devin Booker did was stupid. Booker, LeBron is not making that shot. Hey Booker, here's your scouting report. Remember it for next time. But we aren't even in a situation of Booker feeling the need to contest that shot if the refs call this correctly, because that's a 4-point play, not a 3-point play. And this, egregious bump, oh my, boy, that was really something. Let's be clear, that bump did not get Brooks ejected. LeBron James's temper tantrum got Brooks ejected. How about I build a case that Dillon Brooks and the Suns should be frustrated? Watch the sequence that Dillon Brooks just plays through. Blatant foul number 1. In fact, maybe that's 2, because he's got his right arm on Dillon Brooks' shoulder and his left arm is swiping through, hitting Dillon Brooks, and it's right in front of the referees. But we're not done. Oh no, LeBron's got to do his patented shove off. Hey, you're a nobody. I'm LeBron. I get to shove you out of the way. Again, right in front of the refs. Nobody's talking about this because Dillon Brooks plays through it. Maybe he needs to assault a ref. Crumple to the ground, because both of those work for LeBron James. How about this flagrant foul on Marcus Smart? No call. I mean, come on. It's too much. If that's a Laker, that is a flagrant, and you're going to the line for technical free throws. Keep in mind, this is all in the final minute of the game that the Lakers are getting away with this. Jesus Christ, did you see this shit? Amazingly, the refs finally call one foul, a blatant shove, a blatant attempt to get the ball handler out of bounds. Luka has the nerve to mock the referee. That clapping shit gets other people technicals. And of course, LeBron thinks it's unreasonable. He doesn't even know what happens. He just puts his hands up and complains after every play. Even when they get the call, he does this. Oh God, Luka, just stop. How about this little shove by LeBron on Gillespie? Uncalled, of course, but if that was LeBron James, it would have been called. And LeBron turns it over, as he does at the end of games. I should say throughout games. I mean, he had 8 in this one, most of which turned into points for the other team. Like that one. Like this one is going to be. People who try to justify the corruption of the NBA, the state of the NBA, say, hey, it's just an entertainment league. I say, if you want me to sign up for League Pass, give these guys 5 minutes alone with LeBron James. I'll pay top dollar. I ask you, please just give us 5 minutes alone. Once one's eyes are opened, you realize that LeBron James's career is one riddled with dirty plays and people telling you, no, can't be, because he's not a dirty player. Just say that over and over and over again for 20 or so years. Now combine that with the privileged status of being allowed to do things that just aren't legal. That's pretty much what his offensive package consists of. Here's one from recent history. The retreating Kuminga is actually called for a foul on this play. Here's a nice example that if LeBron James is falling down and out of control, you can't be in the lane, otherwise it's your fault. And then there's the classic, you can't be where LeBron is planning to go. I always enjoy seeing LeBron throw people and shove people without the whistle being blown. The mid-air shoves, especially the little sneaky lower back offhand shoves. Yeah, those are my favorites. Those almost never get whistled. It's just kind of a disregard for other people's safety. And then there's the extracurricular activity, being able to get away with doing things that other people aren't allowed to do. Like always being the guy who shoves the other player. He always gets to have the last word. Or in some cases, keep somebody down on the floor. Of course, an all-time favorite is shoving someone to the ground, then needlessly stepping over them. That's an unsportsmanlike conduct technical if anyone else does it, but in this case, the guy that got stepped over gets the technical. Another favorite was when Aaron Gordon got a technical for being driven backwards out of bounds with a forearm in his throat and then receiving a final shove at the end. Funny thing is, his behavior seems to have gotten even worse now that he's older. I don't know if it's the insecurity, the frustration, or the alleged steroid use. But he gets to keep acting out in fits of rage without being penalized. Here he is, screaming in the face of the female ref. No consequences. Never are any. I mean, he complains after every play. You know, here he says the F-bomb 3 times, slams the ball on the ground multiple times. All of those are supposed to be automatic technicals. Not one. Not one.
Up with it comes Toronto, and that's Boucher doing work length.
No problem, LeBron. You just keep being the face of the league. No technicals for you. Speaking of no technicals, it's one thing to not penalize LeBron James for what he did, but no one in the media, at least not the mainstream media, wants to talk about this? Because this is history. This hasn't happened before. We've never seen behavior like this before. Small YouTube channels? Yeah, quite a few people were like, whoa, how did he get away with this? But none of the big guys. Not even those who are supposedly LeBron critics. Nothing. And you have the option to take the platform of defending him. You have that Weasley manner that LeBron supporters have of making an excuse to justify just about anything. But you're just pretending it didn't happen. You're just pretending it didn't happen. Why? Well, because there's no defense for it. So, what's the best defense? Denial. Reminds me of the steroid allegations. Again, if your stance is that LeBron James is innocent and you want to try to put down all the evidence, and there's a lot of evidence indicating that he's guilty of this. But if you want to take the stance that he's not guilty, go ahead. But once again, that topic is so hot that they don't want to touch it. And it's not like enough time hasn't gone by. It's taken me a while to put all of this together. Somebody should have said something by now. Today's sports media will report on anything. They'll report about tweets going back and forth between guys. You don't want to talk about this? The officiating alone was worth talking about. Nope. Steer clear of that. And let's steer clear of LeBron James manhandling a referee. I mean, we're talking about the NBA thinking that Luka wearing an armband with his number on it was worth posting about. You don't want to talk about this, huh? I did see something come out today by a certified knee-bending, ring-kissing channel. Why don't you show the second frame of this? I mean, this is false reporting. This is making the people who don't actually watch sports think something else happened, because you are pretending that LeBron James is a tough guy. He's talking about old man strength and things like this. He crumpled to the ground in the next frame. Why don't you report accurately? And you know what? I have to thank you for posting this photograph because it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's no reason for LeBron James to have fallen down after this. If anyone should have crumpled to the floor, it's Dillon Brooks. He took the brunt of the punishment here. Instead, it was the 260-pound, completely innocent of any steroid use LeBron James that fell to the ground. Let's talk about this play, and we're going to have to break it down into a couple of categories. Category number one is whether or not you think this is a foul. And you would be in the right to argue multiple directions, because once upon a time, you were not allowed to create space like this. But those days have been gone for quite some time, and guess who introduced the age of, I want to knock people out of the way? Taking too many steps, running into a defender, knocking that defender backward, then taking another step in order to get a shot that was only possible because the refs allow him to knock the defender out of the way, has been a staple in LeBron James's arsenal for years. Every single person arguing that that's not a foul, well then, how is this a foul? Side topic to circle back to, whether you think it's a foul or not, how does it make LeBron James crumble to the ground? Forget the fact that he's 6'9", 260, and balcoed to the gills. How would this make a 180-pound person collapse the way that he collapsed? Heck, I don't even have to use LeBron James to make my point. For variety, let me use somebody else. Another blatant cheater on the Lakers. This was not a foul when Luka Doncic did it. How was it a foul when Dillon Brooks did it? It's bad enough, but then Luka follows it up by jumping into the defender. Another rule that the NBA is bipolar on, and the rest of us watching are left confused. Unless you're LeBron James, and then it's not going to be a foul. You can lower your 6'9" gigantic self down to where you hit a 6'2" guy in the chest with your shoulder, but as long as you get the shot off, it wasn't a foul. This was called on Morant. And LeBron James is still complaining, which is another topic. He's always in the ref's ear. He doesn't get penalized for always being in the ref's ear. You'd think that there would be a statute of limitations. It's too much. You're always in the ref's ear. They are going to penalize you at some point. No. Does not apply to LeBron James, even when they call it in his favor. Even when they illegally call it in his favor, he's still complaining. As if all of that wasn't bad enough, then he taunts. Yes, he is bigger, and he cheats, and he has the refs, and he still taunts. This is your face of the league, people. Which brings us back to the umbrella theme of this video. How did we get here? Well, LeBron James has gotten his way for so long that he tries to get away with more and more and more because, hey, why not? I keep getting away with things. And the league keeps lowering their standards to accommodate what he tries to get away with. Over the last 5 years, I've started referencing the NBA's own video rulebook to show that the NBA doesn't even agree with how they officiate LeBron James. They show examples that contradict the way that they officiate LeBron James. So many different discussions within just this play. For example, what if Dillon Brooks had jumped into LeBron James and then shot the ball instead of going back? What if you just released the ball? You know what? That should be a shooting foul on LeBron James, at least according to what you showed us with LeBron James and Ja Morant. What's the other lesson to be learned? What's the other conclusion that we can draw? How about if you fall down, the ref will blow the whistle for you? It's called flopping. He's supposed to get penalized. He's supposed to get a technical for this. Instead, you rewarded him, and you reward him over and over and over again. The guy who abuses people the most, the guy who brags about being a natural football player, flops the most of anyone in the entire NBA. And that's saying a lot now. Let's face it, the league had to introduce the threat, albeit a hollow threat, of cracking down on flopping because it became so bad during LeBron James's tenure as the face of the league. Problem is, they haven't cracked down on it. In particular, not with him. He has made the game of basketball a joke. He has made it unwatchable for real men, for real competitors, for people who grew up playing by the actual rules. And what do you do in return for him ruining the game of basketball? Do you punish him? No, you say, guess what? We're going to give you more. Do whatever you want to. We'll change according to your needs. LeBron putting his hands on the ref multiple times is another case that I'm sure fanboys are going to say, oh, you're making too big of a deal out of it. To which I say, imagine that that's anyone else. Let's go with Dylan Brooks, for starters. I mean, Dylan Brooks would be looking at a multi-game suspension. Likewise, when he lunged at a fan. Imagine anyone else did that. The media would be having a field day. And as I recall, similar to this incident with the refs, similar to the steroid allegations, the media pretended this didn't happen, didn't talk about it at all. Imagine if Dylan Brooks lunges at a female fan courtside in an attempt to make her flinch. The media is talking about that one for sure. Here we have more antics from the face of the league. Should have been a technical on him, just the way he's behaving here. But what is he doing? He's screaming to get the whistle blown. They blew the whistle because he screamed.
That would have counted. Buzzer.
Nice pass by DeAndre to time is left in the half.
This guy went ballistic in the face of the refs because a breeze went over his head. At this point, Dylan Brooks would be a better face of the league. After a game full of whining, complaining, flopping, begging for calls, and insisting that the guy he's competing against be punished, he has the nerve to pretend to be nonchalant at the end of the game and say, it's just competition, no big deal. Really? Seemed like a pretty big deal to you a little bit earlier. Oh, and by the way, NBA on ESPN, I see you are capable of reporting on some things, along with your other hard-hitting news. Watch the fake tough guy backpedal, his hands are in the air, he's crying to the ref. Now there's plenty of people in between them, and LeBron starts walking forward. Really? Really? Now's when you're going to walk forward? I have a hard time crediting someone as being a tough guy when at 40 years old, a 6'9", 269 professional athlete feels the need to try to intimidate a female fan and then goes and looks for validation with the other guys afterward. Really, this is where you get your confidence boost? Trying to scare a woman and then see if the other guys will laugh with you? Again, they have to take the higher road. They have to ignore the child in the room. Again, you grab a referee and say, I want you to remove this person. You can't be considered a tough guy because the only thing that fan could possibly have done is hurt your feelings. If we're going to allow a precedent to be set that players whose salaries are being paid by the fans, if the players get to remove fans, fans should get to remove players. Sorry, that player's behavior was not acceptable to me. Ref, please remove him. Hey ref, that guy lunged at my wife. I'd like him removed. Look at LeBron's targets. Little old man referee. Little old man sports announcer. Apparently, intentional contact with the referee is supposed to be an automatic ejection. Well, look, we started the downward slope a long time ago. I mean, LeBron James has touched referees many times. In this case, he's grabbing a referee in order to use the services of the referee. Why wasn't he ejected for this one? Oh, right, they were both busy ejecting a fan. I'll try to wrap this up by asking a question. Where do we go from here? Have we finally hit rock bottom? I feel like they redefine rock bottom yearly. I mean, here's a guy who got away with grabbing the ref in order to complain, not about a bad call, but because he didn't like the behavior of another player. He's so entitled, he thinks he gets to grab a referee and scream at the referee because of somebody's behavior, not even a bad call. And the terrible behavior was swatting a ball that wasn't even in his direction, and simultaneously, this is coming from a guy who has a history of whipping balls intentionally at people. I'm going to end on that. Not the strongest point, but I've got 23 years of material to work with. Let's pray it's not 24. Let's pray to God it's not 25.